Welcome to this channel. Join me in exploring natural ways of staying healthy. Today we are going to learn how to prepare fermented cabbage, which is commonly referred to as sauerkraut. Fermented cabbage is full of probiotics. Probiotics are live microorganisms such as beneficial bacteria which when consumed promote or restore your gut health. Welcome. This type of fermentation is called lactofermentation, which uses naturally occurring bacteria such as lactobacilli and yeast to break down sugars present in the cabbage into lactic acid and carbon dioxide. The lactic acid acts as a natural preservative to the ferment. These lactofermenting bacteria require salty environment to thrive and grow, whereas harmful bacteria are intolerant to salty environment. Therefore, the only ingredient required to ferment the cabbage is salt. Use natural sea salt that do not contain iodine. Do not use table salt since it contains iodine and bleaching agents which can inhibit the fermentation process. The first step is to cut this cabbage into small pieces. The second step is to add salt to the cabbage we have chopped. Studies have shown that a concentration of 2 to 3% of salt is required for best fermentation results. We will use kitchen scale to measure cabbage weight, then compute 2% of the total weight to determine weight of salt that will be added to the cabbage. The total weight is 848 grams. 2% of 848 grams is 16.96 grams, which is roughly 17 grams of salt that is required. I will measure 17 grams of natural coarse sea salt and add to the cabbage in the glass bowl. The third step after adding salt is to squeeze or pound the cabbage to extract its juice and form brine. The salt will assist in extracting the juice. I prefer squeezing with my hands over pounding since pounding can break the glass bowl. It will take 5 to 10 minutes to extract sufficient juice for proper fermentation process. It has taken me 7 minutes of squeezing to extract this juice. No water has been added. The fourth step is to put the cabbage in a glass jar. Don't use plastic or metallic jar since it can react with lactic acid produced during fermentation. Using a large spoon or a mwiko, pack the cabbage tightly in the jar so that its juice is covering it. Then add remaining juice from the glass bowl. It is important to ensure that all the cabbage is covered by the brine solution to prevent growth of bad bacteria and mold. One way to ensure the cabbage stays under the juice during fermentation is to place a few uncut cabbage leaves over the cabbage and then placing a glass weight on top of the leaves. You can use small glass lids or jars as weights. They are readily available in major supermarket stores. For my case, I will use a small glass jar lid as my weight. The last step for preparing your ferment is to cover the jar with an airtight lid. After every 24 hours, loosen the lid for 1 second to allow for carbon dioxide release and tighten again to proceed with the fermentation process. Too much build-up of carbon dioxide can break the jar or cause the sauerkraut juice to spill over when the lid is opened. The cabbage is ready to start fermentation. Store in a dark place at room temperature of 20 to 25 degrees Celsius for 3 to 21 days. This is day 10 of fermentation. Note that the longer the fermentation duration, the softer the sauerkraut. I prefer its crunchiness at day 10. I find it delicious while served with avocado. You can opt to mix it with a vegetable salad, but do not heat it to prevent destruction of probiotics.